Hey, how are you? Namaste. So, I'm basically asking myself to do a vlog every day. So it's becoming like a new habit, um, as part of just changes, insights, and basically how I feel and what I'm thinking about, what I'm sort of downloading or processing. It's funny because just then, as I was saying, thinking about, I had this little inner reaction of like, thinking, it's bad. Like you're not supposed to think, and in a way, there is a part of thinking that can loop us into worrying, fearful patterns, yes. And to me, there is an enjoyable part of thinking, which is just deducing and sort of, I guess, in the academic world, they'd call it kind of critical thinking. So you're kind of going into these little um, corners in your mind within thought or through thought to reveal certain things to you about your understanding of life and reality. And I was just before I set up the phone for the vlog, I I started to think about, why is all this stuff even important? Why should people even care? Like, and then even talking, going asking myself, why do I care? Like, what does it matter? If people wake up, or if people realize that they're creators and that they can do whatever they want and they can create the life they want. So we should all be creating in harmony and da 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 da. What does it really matter? And this is where like stuff gets kind of weird and paradoxical, is that it doesn't ultimately matter. There's like infinite eternal time and space to practice living and practice expanding and getting to know yourself and getting to know um or getting to that pinnacle of joy, bliss, and happiness. And then I started to think about kind of human history and where we've come from as far as these stories that we've told. And for me, my learning in education was very much, Jesus was born, and then we crucified him, and he died for our sins, um and then a few other things happened, and then suddenly there was all these world wars between Europe and, of course, Hitler, and how thankful we all are to the soldiers and veterans who fought for our freedom. So that's obviously a major, broad, sweeping generalization. And I wasn't very good at history. Okay, so my hands up. I always dreaded the history exams because I found it really difficult to just memorize dates for these things that happened in the past, when I was 14, 15, 16. So, yeah, that's kind of my recollection. Then all these wars happen, and we're supposed to be super grateful for our freedom and all this, and I love gratitude, obviously, and I know how important it is to practice the feeling of gratitude. And I'm really lucky because a lot of times, most days, there's just like these fluid moments that last a long time where I'm just like in this bundle of love and gratitude for how beautiful life is, or how much I love my boyfriend, or how much I love my home or my body, or like, so I'm so grateful just to be at that place where I'm like, where I know it's good to milk that and feel that and enjoy that feeling of bliss and gratitude. But, you know, growing up, it was like, you have to be grateful, you know, and for these things that happened in the past. And it's true, of course, you know, people who risk their lives is a noble act. But I suppose as I studied and as I got older and I started to have certain kind of awakenings, I guess. So you know, in spiritual worlds they talk about the veils of illusion, and it just happened that I, within my own self, even in my first year of uni, I did a year at the University of British Columbia, and I did like a foundation course and with an intention to major in women's studies. And even then I was, you know, asking those kind of questions of like, why though? You know, why is it like that? And then, so earlier what kind of sprung up about what to do with this vlog and talking was some of these like really amazing lies that we're all, or not all of us of course, but a lot of us are taught to think is like, you know, survival of the fittest and human nature is inherently greedy, or human nature is inherently corrupt. So that is like a humongous lie, and in no way is it true. And I think when we're brought up with a system and perhaps even a group of people around us who are telling us this as the truth, well, life isn't fair and people are greedy, and in human nature, you know, people are just corrupt. People, it's eye for an eye and da 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 da. So those lies are a big part of the veil, like the veil of illusion. So for me, when I guess just my choices and where I am in my own soul's journey, and I haven't been, because I've done a little bit of past work, I haven't been to this earth loads and loads of times, but you know, I'm aware, and I'm aware of the fact that I got kind of like stuck in patterns from a very powerful creator into a limited body and a fallen earth, and sort of fell into frightening darkness and stuff. And so as I'm coming out of that and more working with light and love, it's the fact that even back then when I was being told this, you know, at a university level, this is how things are, my deduction, you know, my critical thinking at the time just couldn't make sense of it. I was like, yeah, but I want the best for everybody. Like I don't want there to be poverty. I would rather, and I think, so that's really interesting as it comes out, that paradigm. So for me, thinking, no, I don't need anything, or like, I'll get lots of this and just share it with everybody, and we don't need a lot. Money doesn't buy you happiness, and like, people aren't greedy. It was just this deep knowing within me, like, people aren't greedy. People inherently love one another. And so as I've broken free from that, and actually now I know that was part of the backlash from, you know, feeling my way into more profound, I guess, truth and understanding about certain ways the world that I was learning about operated, and also how I operate. And I can see clearly now, from that kind of rejection of a financial system which is based in being greedy, I then denied it. And so that's why I spent most part of my 20s, pretty much all of my 20s, really poor, like broke, you know. And then it was only when I started doing all the yoga and I started to peel back more layers and more veils were lifted, that I could finally be like, oh, money's not the problem. You know, If anything, I'm definitely allowed to be abundant and have financial wealth. And it's not just about finance, it's about abundance. You know, it's about feeling free and liberated. And money is a resource and an energy on this earth that actually is the channel for those actions, you know. So, you know, our denial or thinking something's wrong with money is definitely a lie as well. That's a false perception, because it's all within us. We are always the ones creating everything that we're experiencing, both as individuals and collectively. So demonizing money doesn't help. It doesn't work. It doesn't benefit anybody, because it's something we created already, and it's no different than our own individual patterns, where when we're constantly reacting to people, places, and things around us, we're actually reacting to something we're creating in the first place. So taking that little step back and using our mind in a really wonderful way, you know, like, it's great to be mindful, and it's such a beautiful practice to meditate and to calm that thinking mind down, right down, and even hang out with a silent mind if you can. But I like thinking. I enjoy using my mind in a way that helps me feel like I have a deeper understanding. And I know that I'm not putting these vlogs out for, there probably was a time deep within where I'm like looking for a recognition, but I'm not really putting them out there for any recognition. It's literally just like a heartfelt desire to share, because I work with people in a different context, and not everybody thinks how I think. So I'm more interested in kind of sharing with myself how I'm doing, where I'm going. And there's been a big part of self-love and self-discovery just through, you know, expressing myself on camera and then putting it out there. So facing a lot of fears about I'm wrong, I'm bad, instead of just I am. I am. This is what I am. This is what I'm thinking about. And actually, I'm going to go meditate now, because I don't want to think about this stuff anymore. So I'm just going to drop in and get really nice and quiet. And then I think I'm going to start reading a book that I got, what's it called? Money, Master the Game by Tony Robbins. That something shifted within me by doing this Unlimited Abundance course, and I have a true desire to read that. So I'm going to see what it says, because some things I'm starting to realize there's still some blocks about taking action around money, and I know that I'm unlimited and totally powerful, so it's like, what's your deal, girl? Like, why can't you just write that budget, you know? So I think there is a block. I think it's harder than it actually is, and it's also bringing up within me, there's fear. There's fear around money somehow. I think because I grew up, you know, with the worry about not having it, and then rejected it in my own life in my 20s. And then as I start to own it myself, and own the fact that the creations that I want to create require it at this point. So what are you going to do? I'm going to have to learn more, right, about that, and about this financial system, and actually not really about the financial system, but how I understand it and how I understand bringing it into my life so that I can create more abundance and actually do some of the things I've been wanting to do for a while, like go to Bali. Okay, peace out, everybody. Hope you've enjoyed. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. All to love. All to love.